Hello, Aries. This is Michelle, and I'm here to do your September 2021 tarot reading. We'll be using the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, the Centennial Edition, and this is a reproduction of the original deck created by Pamela Coleman Smith. I'm also going to bring in a few cards from the Tarocchino Bolognese, which is a reproduction of the deck by Giuseppe Maria Metelli and by Il Meneghello. All right, and so those are the cards we'll be using. And I just want to preface this reading with my intention because it's just, these are difficult times for many, many people, and there are just so many things going on in the world today, so many difficulties for so many people. And so I'm setting an intention for this reading for my Aries friends, any Aries people that come to this channel, that we receive messages of hope and encouragement. Whatever the situation is that you happen to be in, I'm asking for messages of hope and encouragement for my Aries friends, hope and encouragement for my Aries friends. Let's take a look for the month of September. We'll go ahead and look at the bottom of the deck. It's the Seven of Cups, okay? Let's go ahead and just pull that out as well. 10 of Swords right underneath. Okay, let's take a look for the sign of Aries. What do we have? All right, it's the Two of Wands. Two of Wands coming up. The Seven of Wands, all right, opening with some fire energy for the sign of Aries. We have Temperance, Temperance coming into your reading. All right, that's interesting to see. Let's continue on. And the Five of Pentacles, all right, the Five of Pentacles. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a reading based on this initial vertical lineup spread here, Aries. I'm going to say that I feel that some of you feel like you are ready to go. You have plans in mind. You have goals in mind. You know where you'd like to actually see yourself, and you're envisioning it. I think you're doing a really good job of envisioning opportunities for yourself and ways that you can expand your base. Okay, for some of you that's going to mean different things, but also I'm picking up the idea of just expanding your understanding of yourself and the world at this time. Okay, so even that is going to mean different things for different people, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge right now. Okay, I think that it is a challenge right now. It's a challenge for many people right now, to remain passionate and hopeful about things. And a lot of us are going through that. I realize that, and it's coming through in the reading. I really actually wanted to acknowledge that this month because I think there is certainly a case or a place for just coming in with a very positive, vibrant, happy reading, and I hope we end up there. But it doesn't, I think, correspond with some of the general tones that we're experiencing in the world today. I think what you are bringing to bear on this situation, however, is a great spiritual strength. Okay, I'm really seeing you tapping into your spiritual, I want to say, abilities or practices in order to find some equilibrium during this difficult time. For some of you, it might even feel chaotic. And but I feel that you have some tools and you are using them to find your center. And if that's not the case, then I think that there is a message coming through for some of you to kind of reach back into those spiritual practices that you know of in order to gain your center. For some of you, it could be financial changes or financial concerns are creating some difficulties. And what I'm picking up from this is if that's the case, that again, tapping into your spiritual knowledge base or practices, I think will be, and this is going to sound a little paradoxical, but I feel that that will be a grounding mechanism for you. So the more unstable or uncertain things become, we can start to feel like actually we aren't even grounded anymore in like reality. So when we do our grounding exercises, we do want to ground into this planet. For sure, on a technical basis. Okay, for sure, we want to do that. But I'm just kind of sharing this as happening for me, and I think this might even be happening for you, or you might resonate with this, is that the more uncertainty that comes in, the more we can find spiritual practices, scriptures, spiritual writings. The more we can find those things are what actually bring us solace and grounding, a feeling of being grounded in our spirituality. And I am very strongly picking up the idea of writings. And so some of you might be reading, it could be just any type of spiritual wisdom. And I think this is going to be very grounding for us. Okay, and so we have the Ace of Pentacles coming in and the Five of Cups. Okay, let's pull a few more cards for Aries. And here's the Sun, which just tends to come up for me, right? For the sign of Aries, because I always think of you when I pull this card. The youthfulness, the innocence, the vitality, the vibrance, the fire. The sun indeed is exalted in the sign of Aries. It does really well in that sign. It's a beautiful spot. It's a beautiful sun to have if your sun sign is Aries. And so here you are coming into the reading. And so again, so for some of you, it can be that you're also questioning just how to keep that vitality alive, the Aries vibrance alive. And I am picking up the sense again of coming back to the scriptures or any kind of even exploratory reading around spirituality and spiritual truths. That's coming through very strongly for me at this time. Some of you may have started something recently, perhaps a new business venture, and it could be that it was just difficult to maintain the energy for that. And so some of you may be going through a process of considering whether or not you want to continue on. And I think that, this is a good process. It's a process of analysis, right? We need to think about where we want to focus our energies at this time, because so much has changed. So much has changed in the world. And I know, sometimes I would, just kind of do that, usual reading of saying, you just turn around, you've got these cups here, everything's going to be more positive. But what I'm picking up intuitively from this five is that there is some change in the air. And I feel that it is going to be very good and positive to be flexible. We actually have two fives, right, that have come in here now, the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. And so I think it's wise and a good idea to be flexible and to be thinking about different plans and to be thinking about and considering whether or not what you were focusing on is where you want to continue to focus. Perhaps it is. Perhaps that is the place that you need to continue your energy. But I think thinking it over is wise and a good idea. Now, the Ace of Swords, that's very interesting. It just kind of pushes this whole narrative along very naturally, suggesting that for some of you, there may be actually a new course of action in mind. And so some of you may be thinking about or feeling that one stage of life, one area of focus and engagement is waning, and that something new is coming in. And that sounds very positive to me. Very, very positive. We have the Chariot, which is beautiful to see. This is another card suggesting to me equilibrium. There is a sort of an equilibrium suggested through the sphinxes here, the sort of polarity between the black and the white, suggesting equilibrium. The Chariot is in this square, we might say like square, well, it's a vehicle. It is a chariot. We can see the wheels here. They're a little hard to make out, right? Do you see the wheels there? But the chariot itself, it's not really round. It's square, suggesting stability. And so I can see, again, either you searching out or looking for activities, people, thinking, texts that you can engage in that help you to feel more stable and grounded. And this is beautiful to see at this time. I think it's exactly what many of us need to be doing. Some of you might also be in positions where others are counting on you or looking up to you, right? Looking up to you as being a person who is accomplished or perhaps a leader. So you might be a leader of your family or a group of people in some sort of setting. And so this seems absolutely appropriate and very positive to be searching and thinking about things that you can do that help you to feel stable. Concluding this reading on the Empress, although I am going to pull some Tarotchino, but concluding the tarot cards on the Empress suggests that growth is it is on the horizon, I should say, that the trajectory that you are on is one of growth, love, and also I want to say charity. That is coming in. This is really an important message, I think, at this time. And boy, we didn't even talk about that 7. But, it is the backdrop for really this entire reading, that idea of uncertainty, right? That idea of things just being chaotic or uncertain. But the tarot is saying that there are ways to find some grounding, and that it suggests that you are seeking that now. That you may have something new in mind, something new and fresh in mind. That you are finding ways or seeking for ways to remain stable, both for yourself and others. And all of this positivity leads to growth and this concept of charity. So I'm going to mention this too because it's also really kind of foremost in my mind at this time as a message to put out. And it is this, that at this time, on the one hand, I think that we are really called to watch out, take care of our own interests and those of our family members or our loved ones and those that are close to us. And at the same time, I believe we are also called to be generous and charitable to others when the opportunity arises. And finding the balance between those two, right? So we saw balance coming through both in Temperance and the Chariot, right? So this theme coming through about equilibrium and this idea of finding some balance between taking care of yourself and your own needs and your family's needs at this time, as well as if an opportunity arises to be charitable or encouraging to someone else. I think that this is going to help us feel better at this time. Find that balance that can feel as though it is lacking somewhat. All right, now I am going to be pulling 3 tarotchinos for you. We have the 6 of clubs, all right, or batons, we might say, in this deck. Different names for these cards, right? Wands, batons, rods, all right. And we have the 8 of rods, which is turning out to be really one of my favorite cards in this deck. I love seeing that. Okay, one more card for my Aries friends, no. Okay, we're getting a no on that. One more card for my Aries friends. These cards are not laminated, and so I've sort of found a new way to work with them. And once again, the Knight of Swords. I'm saying once again because last month we used the Tarotchino and that Knight of Swords came up just about every single reading. And so there's a strong message coming through there. All right, and so for Aries, let's take a look at the Tarotchino. All right, and so Aries, the first thing that I want to say is this, that's coming through to me. It's almost like, okay, I'm going to say a spiritual or a heavenly message coming through, a spiritual or heavenly message coming through, saying to have strength, have mental strength, remain strong in your knowledge that everything will work out for you and your family. Be patient, okay? So try to, this can be very difficult at this time. I realize that there are just many circumstances that people are going through that makes it difficult for things to move forward quickly, right? So a lot of us are running into obstacles now. And the Tarotchino is saying to, cultivate patience where you can. Perhaps that does tie back into spiritual readings, prayer, meditation, things of that nature that cultivate patience. Because the message coming through is that everything is going to be okay. With this 8 of Rods, there's a lot of stability socially. Okay, so it is suggesting some social stability, or I want to say what's really coming through is social support. All right, so even when things are very difficult and chaotic or falling apart in some sense, we can still at this time find social support. This suggests that you are protected at this time, that your home is protected, whatever home means. I mean, it might be an actual structure, but it can also mean other things. Homes can change and relocate, and just the building itself isn't necessarily what makes it the home, right? And so there is a social structure, I think, that is protecting you, and the hearth will remain warm for you. Be patient at this time and have strength. Aries, I feel a very strong spiritual protection coming through for you in this month and at this time, let me say. That is your reading for September 2021. Thank you so much for being here, for visiting. It is a pleasure and a privilege to read for you as always, and I'll see you next time.